Now in today's video, we're on a very small British island. Of course, it's St. Mary's of the Scilly Islands, you know, small island. But we're spawning to this big boy down here. The big bomber plane, which is of course the Vulcan Avro. Take a look at this beauty. Yes, this is Just Flight's new airplane that they released at the end of last year on November for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Well, it only is 30 euros now, which is a very, very low price for what you're getting. Let me tell you, this is an add-on airplane that truly invites you to live the pilot life of a bomber pilot, maybe in the Falklands. Yeah. I mean, take a look at this beautiful exterior. But of course, the interior is even more breathtaking. I mean, take a look at this beautiful cockpit here. Looks like a watch store. And also, this looks like a layout from an F-16 or an F-14. And while the ejectable pilot seats are also quite fighter jet-like. Yes, you could genuinely eject out of this quite huge airplane. It's not small at all. I mean, it could be counted as the biggest fighter jet, right? Yeah. So this is great. This doesn't have a lot of big windows. Makes a lot of sense though, because it was made for dropping, you know, atomic weapons, nuclear weapons. And you wouldn't really want to see a lot of that radiation. Anyway, we can take a look at this iPad, very contemporary. They didn't have that back in the 50s when this airplane was designed and built. Yes, this is an old plane, although it was only retired, you know, maybe 10 years ago. Yes, this plane accompanied the British throughout the Cold War. Now, let's take a look here. We've got aircraft, which is a very important page here. We can skip through all the views and, you know, some of the views we need for startup, especially the AEO view we need for startup. So we practically spawned up, I think, next to the pilots here, right? Here we have some of the engineering panel that we need. Master switch, is that for battery? This is a relatively riddled plane to start up, that is for sure. All you need though is, of course, your cup holder for your Starbies. And because there were so many of these airplanes built, over 130 Vulcans exist, there were lots of different variants, which we can also choose here. We can, for example, remove the nose probe here that's right in front of us, add a TFR dome, ESCM, all that stuff. In fact, we can even turn this thing into a tanker, which the British military did because they, you know, back in the 1990s, hadn't received their KC-10 tankers yet. And so they just equipped the Avro with some more tanks instead of putting nuclear weapons to it. Check out those tanks, which Just Flight beautifully displays here. Now let's maybe go ahead and actually equip this guy with something. MRR pods, whatever it needs, saddle tanks. Yes, of course, weapons. I mean, it's true, Microsoft Flight Simulator isn't the best military flight simulator, but this is cool anyway. So let's maybe go ahead and start up the plane. I really don't care to do that on my own, so let's go ahead and press ready for takeoff here. Oh, check this out. Yes, of course, this console here is able to retract and extend, which is very necessary. I mean, how else are you going to get out of that seat? By the way, can we eject our co-pilot? Not sure. All right, now these engines are starting up. These are 4 Olympus engines. Over the years, within production, they use various versions of Olympus engines. But, you know, Olympus is known for being the aircraft manufacturer who built the Concorde engine later on. Come on, engines are nicely starting up. I mean, this is a 50s airplane, one of the more earlier jet airplanes after all, which is why the engine design, which is mounted inside of the wing, reminds us of like a Comet airplane. All right, let's see. I think the engines are started up. I think that's good. So we go ahead and taxi onto this runway 14 of St. Mary's Airport. It's a British island. It should be able to handle it. I mean, this airplane's got a lot of power in its engines and a lot of wing. Check those out. Beautiful. Yes, this airplane was made to fly at an incredibly high altitude and at pretty high speeds, and that was practically its only defense measures against enemies that it was flying over. This airplane was built in mind that it could be faster and higher than missiles. So good. Beautiful. I like to see that. Nice. All right, now it is time to actually get going. Check the controls. Yes, that's a lot of elevator. That's a lot of surface indeed. This airplane, yes, it does fly like a fighter jet. We're about to find out. And we can hear the beautiful howl of this airplane. Maybe that's why it was named after a Vulcan. Because the rule is, if you hear this airplane and the scary howl of it, it's already too late. Just like in a Vulcan. All right, come on, let's go ahead and now take off here. Unleash the power. Oh, that is a lot of power. I didn't expect that nose landing gear to actually be able to... What is this airplane doing? Okay. I am not even... Okay. Okay, takeoff. Damn, that is a lot of power this airplane had. I really don't know what just happened here. How did that nose landing gear raise so much? Yes, indeed. Olympus engines very powerful. I think, let's just use slew mode. Yes, Olympus engines are indeed very powerful, despite them not having any thrust reverser. Now, if you see this landing gear, which you can definitely see, you can already tell that it's slightly tilted. I mean, even the animation, what it shows here of how it's actually being retracted into the fuselage is beautiful. This was one of the earlier tilting gear mechanisms. All right, beautiful. And we are actually going. We can already test the capabilities of this airplane. I mean, once again, it flies like a fighter jet due to there being so much control surface here. Check this out. I'm pretty sure this thing went inverted at one point. Looks pretty symmetrical to me. No problem. Let me take a look at what we have here. Let me go ahead and open that bomb door and see what happens. Well, not much because we haven't loaded in any bombs. Well, that's too bad. First, we can try one of the other 3 versions that come with this Just Flight add-on. You know, the Olympus 301 engine version, for example. There's also a VTTS version, which is a reconnaissance airplane version. Yes, this was a very versatile airplane. A tanker, reconnaissance, bomber, nuclear. In fact, we should rather attempt doing a landing with this airplane. All right, now on an approach here, maybe let's fly to La Mole Airport here in the south of France. With a little speed here, we can do this beautifully. Now let's go ahead and retract that beautiful landing gear. We are a little bit fast, but that is no worry on the Vulcan indeed, because this airplane has some very powerful air brakes. Check those out. We've got not only spoilers up on the wing, but like below the wing as well. That is quite beautiful, and so we were able to very quickly lose speed. Check this out, beautiful. Yeah, that kind of does make up for the issue of the Vulcan that it obviously doesn't have reverse thrust. Now it's getting interesting. Talking about interesting, this is right now a white livery. You know, nuclear bombers like this at the time were painted white in order to just reflect the thermal radiation from their bomb that they were dropping off. Next to, of course, the precaution of putting the blinds down like that. So that you wouldn't get blinded. Not funny. We take a look. Oh, I want to land here. We have a beautiful chart down here, which tells us our speeds that we should have very generally. Let's go ahead and see if we can land here. We probably won't be able to make a butter landing though, right? All right, touching down early on the runway, hopefully. Come on. Stop. Oh, there you go. That was a beautiful touchdown, I think. That might have been a bit of a butter landing. Yes, indeed, due to the tilted landing gear, I think we're able to do this quite well. Talking about doing things quite well, I think we're stopping quite well. Yes, once again, this airplane doesn't have reverse thrust, but as you could just see, we do have a parachute, which is not bad at all, right? Now, at this point, you might be wondering, well, Swiss, why haven't you showed us any of the actual cool stuff of this plane? You know, dropping bombs, using weapons, and missiles, things that this airplane was made for. But it's, well, because I can't. Because I bought the marketplace variant of this very airplane for $30 on the Microsoft Marketplace store thing. And as it turns out, on the marketplace, you're prohibited from showing weaponry in your aircraft. So Just Flight had to remove the weapons from the airplane, and so I'm now here with a very peaceful bomber. You know, I was wondering the whole time, geez, why can't I set up any weapons here just as shown in this very extensive operations manual? This is what the page is supposed to look like. You'd have this blue steel bomb. So yeah, it's actual nuclear bombs as well. No, you can't sell them on the Microsoft Flight Simulator store. That wouldn't be family friendly enough. So once again, peaceful, very peaceful airplane. I guess something that is peaceful is a butter landing. Let's do that. Now, so we go to New Zealand here, Wellington Airport. This is an airport that the Avro has been to in real life. I mean, didn't it crash here in the 1950s in one of its million thousands of air show appearances it did? Yeah, that could maybe have happened. Yes, maybe go ahead and fix those traumatic experiences for this little Avro. Big Avro. Come on, looking quite beautiful. I'd like to see that. Now, come on, I'd like to see ultimate butteriness. I think that was quite good. I really didn't notice that touchdown at all. So that was, I think, quite fine. Let's go ahead now and stop beautifully. Once again, we have a parachute that's... Damn! There we go. Just like that has been deployed. And we can just stop very much immediately on this airport. I like to see that. That's what I'm talking about, everybody. The Avro from Just Flight. Very, very beautiful airplane. They've done this quite well. I just did the biggest mistake of my life, though, by buying this plane off the marketplace. Pretty much ruining the whole point of what this airplane was made for. Okay, so I'm gonna thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow, as always. Good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters, Guns Killer, R27, James Deram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Fighter, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New York. You've got beautiful names.